I want to start this segment by playing a clip that I have here. I got this clip, and it's an interesting one. I want to play it for you.
Look, I'm not going to lie. Sometimes I'm a little scared or like, I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race because
that is TYT host Anna, in quotations, the dumbass bitch, end quotations, Kasparian, TYT host, going on a right-wing show called the Lilo and Stitch Show that has like a VTuber and like some failed comedian, talking about how she's afraid to talk to people outside of a race. She's afraid. Like, now, I'm going to tell you this as a white person, and I will tell you this as well. I'm a white person who has been criticized by black people for my actions in the past. And you know what I've done? I've gone, let me think about this for a second. They're right. Anna Kasparian learns the opposite lesson, right? She learns, I said something a little insensitive. Well, now I'm just going to stop talking to black people. That's Anna Kasparian's learned lesson. Home of progressives, by the way. So, Anna Kasparian has been under fire. I'd like to say I've been leading the charge. I don't know if I've been leading the charge, but I'm trying to shift the Overton window here. If I'm going to be honest with you, the blueprint that I am following is the Michael Brooks blueprint on Dave Rubin. I'm just going to be honest with you. This is the approach I'm taking. You can take that information as you will. Anna Kasparian and Dave Rubin are identically stupid. They are both dumb, historically illiterate, self-righteous, self-important, uppity little pricks. Add Jimmy Dore to that list. This is the modern day dumb left. Because Dave Rubin and Jimmy Dore, they're just right-wingers now. So there is no such thing as the dumb left anymore. So Anna Kasparian, she is taking that charge and she is leading with it. And so Anna Kasparian has been under fire to the point where she feels the need to respond on the Young Turks show. So what is she responding to? She is responding to going on the Lilo and Stitch show and defending conversion therapy advocates. Conversion therapy. She's defending conversion therapy advocates, saying that they're great people and they care so much. Now, what also happened? Well, over the last couple of weeks, and this has been brewing, it's been brewing for months. You know, the unhoused people are all shit, you know, defund the police, go fuck yourselves, I'm afraid to talk to black people, trans people are all men, whatever. Right? She's going on right-wing shows, defending conversion therapy advocates, saying she's afraid to talk to non-white people. And eventually, the only transgender, to my understanding, the only transgender contributor to the Young Turks, Bennie Carollo, left. She basically said, I can't fucking take this shit anymore. I'm not working for people that hate me and that are personally transphobic against me. So she rightfully left the Young Turks. Now again, I say everyone subscribe to Bennie Carollo. Give her money if you can. Switch your TYT subscription to her if you can. Right? Because she is doing something actionable. Unlike some of the other TYT hosts, and I'm going to be getting in to the other TYT hosts, because John Idarola made a statement that was fueled with beta energy, and that's going to be what I'm going to cover next. But first, I want to get to Anna's statement, because this is some really funny ass shit, man. And let's go.
So I want to address that. So during an interview over the weekend, I mentioned how I think the discourse that the country is currently engaged in regard to race relations has actually led to more racial division.
Now, when she says that on the Young Turks to her supposedly progressive audience, right? What is this race what is she talking about? She's talking about, whoops, that's the wrong one. I pressed the wrong file. She's talking about this.
look, I'm not going to lie. sometimes I'm a little scared or like I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race because
So she said that, and people are like, "Whoa, bitch, what the fuck?" And then this is how she sanitizes. Right, quote, "I'm afraid to talk to people outside of my race." And this is how she sanitizes it.
So I want to address that. So during an interview over the weekend, I mentioned how I think the discourse that the country is currently engaged in regard to race relations has actually led to more racial division.
Yo, I mean, again, you can't make it up. I mean, I'm sorry, man. Like, I'm just gonna play it again.
Scared or like I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race because
I'm gonna play it again. Okay, I'm gonna play it one more time. Bear with me.
look, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm a little scared or like I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race because I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race because I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race because
now, I want you all to fucking figure this shit out in your head for a moment. How are you gonna go on the Lilo and Stitch show, say that fucking shit, and then go on your Homo Progressive show? By the way, I love this. Get progressive merch at Shop TYT. I love it, man. I love it. Like, you can't make this up, man. So she said, "I'm afraid to talk to non-white people." And now she's like, "Well, like, I did this show, and it's like, I kind of mentioned that race relations are a little..." Now, again, I would like to introduce everyone to Dumb Bitch Hour on my show, because we are right in the middle of Dumb Bitch Hour, okay? Like, dude. Like, I'm sorry. Like, I just want to, like, if I accidentally, because we can only hope and pray it's an accident, right? If I accidentally went on a right-wing show and said, "I'm afraid to talk to black people," you know what I wouldn't do? Going back on my progressive show, I wouldn't lie about it. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't lie about it. But let's keep going. So we're 15 seconds in, and we've already got some more bangers from Anna, in quotations, the dumb bitch, end quotations. Kasparian?
When we've had now 3 years straight of just brazen white people this, all white people that, Karen this, Karen that, it makes some people, including myself, a little hesitant to talk to individuals using statements like that on a...
Now, again, right? This is how she is sanitizing this clip.
look, I'm not gonna lie. Sometimes I'm a little scared or like I'm afraid of like talking to people who are outside of my race because
Like, dude, I'm sorry. If some black person calls you whitey on the internet, it's happened to me. I've been called whitey. I've been called a cracker. Oh, dear heavens. I shouldn't have said that on such a public platform. If you get called a whitey on the internet and your response is to say, "I'm afraid to talk to non-white people,"
only the really, I hate to say this, but those with the lowest IQ.
Get progressive merch at Shop TYT.
regular basis. I should have been clear in mentioning a specific subgroup who think it's totally fine to say stuff like that.
Now, is she mentioning, she's saying I should have mentioned the specific subgroup. Now, I just want you all to understand, she is not talking about a subgroup. She is not talking about a group at all. She's talking about Olayemi from the leftist mafia. That, when she is saying all of this, she is picturing in her mind Olayemi from the leftist mafia, because Olayemi basically called her out on her shit and was unapologetic about it, and that traumatized her. A black person unapologetically calling her out on her transphobia traumatized her to such a degree that, like, she's just lost her, like, she's fucking insane. Like, Anna Kasparian has gone insane. Like, let's keep going, though.
That is who I'm referring to. And I think, doesn't take a professional, it doesn't take a tenured psychologist to understand why people would feel hesitant to engage in conversations, open dialogue, when they're constantly reading day in and day out that just the very nature of them being white means that they're racist or hateful or promote white supremacy.
Okay, so are there dumb dummies who think that all white people are racist all the time no matter what? Sure. Just like there's dumb dummies who think that, like, all black people are inherently violent no matter what. There's dumb dummies on every side of the political aisle. But the idea that a dumb dummy saying all white people are racist would make me go on the Lilo and Stitch show and say I'm afraid to talk to non-white people, I mean, wow. Like, I can't imagine. I literally cannot imagine saying something so unhinged and dumb. Like, and I need you to understand, this bitch is dumb. Regardless of her history, regardless of her track record, her progressive track record. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Above all else, the through line, she is very stupid. She is not smart. She's a dummy dumb. That's what she is.
And I would just venture to say that maybe we need to be a little more careful in throwing that word around, racist, because when you accuse people who aren't racist of being racist, the word loses all meaning.
Yo, I'm not gonna lie to you. This is like word for word like a Trump speech. Like, I mean, like, wow, man, like, it's crazy to watch.
I'm now super hesitant to believe accusations of racism toward people until I've done a full look at the story and investigation myself, because it's now used to label anyone who says anything that is considered out of line. Now, if you watch that interview and you decide that I was out of line, that you didn't like what I had to say, and you no longer want to support the show, that is totally your right. But I'm always gonna speak my mind. I'm always gonna say what I actually believe.
But the problem is she doesn't say what she actually believes. She's making this, like, bizarre, like, couched politician statement, because that's what this is. This is a politician. She is a politician. Right? This is what a politician would do. Lie about what you said. Pretend like what you said is not what you said, but what you said was something different that was totally reasonable. It's called the Mott and Bailey. Right? She said some unhinged garbage, saying, I'm afraid to talk to non-white people. Right? And then, when called out on it, she retreats. It's the Mott and Bailey technique. She retreats to the more rational position of, like, well, I think some people call all white people racist, and that's a little absurd. That's not why anyone's calling you out, bitch. That's not why anyone's calling you out. No one's calling you out because you think some people say you're a racist too much. No one cares. Okay? In fact, everyone agrees with you. People are calling you out because you went on a right-wing show and said that you're afraid to talk to non-white people, dude. That's why people are calling you out. People are calling you out because you said some transphobic garbage, and now you're promoting some guy who believes in conversion therapy for trans kids. That's why people are calling you out, but she knows that. She knows that. Like, again, this bitch has been a professional media journalist. She teaches college classes on media literacy. She knows what she's doing. She might be dumb when it comes to general intelligence. She's an airhead. She's a stupid fuck. But when it comes to how to play an audience like a fiddle, she is extremely good at it. That's her entire career. She knows how to manipulate stupid people in her audience. And that's what she's doing here. If you fell for this shit and you're a TYT viewer, you are a stupid motherfucker. Dumber than her, and that's saying something. Let's keep going.
And I do think that the whole Karen narrative, which I did a long segment about just a few weeks ago, has been super toxic. And I think just assuming that people, based on the color of their skin, want to uphold white supremacy in America.
Again, she is talking to a ghost. She's talking to a motherfucking ghost.
It's just flat out wrong. Period. That's what I think. So I wanted to address that.
And we have some more.
And in our Twitch subs, we have Vitingale, who...
Vitingale, where you at? Vitingale, raise your hand. Where are you at right now? You're on the TV, Vitingale. You're on the TV. Get in here.
Is commenting about Bennie leaving TYT and says that silence is violence. So since you want me to address it, I will address it. So unfortunately, Bennie has decided to leave TYT. I am definitely heartbroken over her decision to do that. I wish that Bennie decided to stay here despite our...
Now, I'm gonna put a pin in this one. Okay? I'm gonna put a pin in this one. Okay? We're gonna return to this in a moment. All right? Put a pin in that. We're gonna return to this in one moment. Let's keep going.
In my opinion, incredibly minor differences of opinion that have been...
Minor differences of opinion, such as I'm going to promote debunked conspiracy theories about trans kids. And she is promoting someone who literally is writing articles and articles about how conversion therapy is the only way to treat trans kids. Now, again, we're going to put a pin in the him, I mean her thing. We're going to put a pin in that. I'll get to that at the end because I have a hot take on that, but I want to get to everything else first, okay?
Been blown out of proportion on Twitter with people encouraging Bennie to leave TYT.
Now, some people have said that I'm the one she's referring to. Now, again, I don't want to be the main character here, right? I'm not trying to be the main character, though I don't mind if I'm the main character. But I think a lot of other people were jumping in on the Anna's a dumb bitch train. It's not just me. But I would like to say I have gone the hardest at this bitch. I'm just saying that, right? And I get it. It's controversial, right? I've gone hard on Anna because she is a Dave Rubin dummy. And I have no problem with saying that. I'm not offended by bad words. I'm not offended. I don't think that it's immoral to use bad words. Bad words exist, you know, to call bad people bad things. That's why bad words exist. Right? But the idea that Bennie Carollo is just like a robot, you know what I mean? A robot who can't make her own decisions and is just being pressured by everyone else in the world. Oh, it's those Twitter extremists. It's those Twitter extremists. Bennie is not a rational, free-thinking individual. And now also, again, what is she doing? If you watch, Bennie Carollo made a video entitled Why I Left TYT. In that video, nowhere did she say some crazy trans extremist named Andrea was begging me to quit TYT and called Anna a dumb bitch. Nowhere did that happen. Nowhere in that video did she say, you know, some random Twitter extremist named Juniper, you know, was you know, because that's another one that Anna is attacking, is Juniper on Twitter. Nowhere did she say that. What Bennie Carollo said is she left TYT because she was on the phone with these people, gave them medical studies, research studies that debunked their fake conspiracy theories. They ignored her and kept promoting conspiracy theories. If you tell a Trumper that Donald Trump lost the 2020 election and they keep saying the opposite, you're not dealing with a rational person who lives in the real world. Right? But she, Anna Kasparian, did not listen to Bennie Carollo's video. She doesn't care. She doesn't give a fuck about what Bennie has to say. And she is preying upon the audience also not giving a fuck. She hopes that you don't look up Bennie Carollo's video entitled Why I Left TYT. She doesn't want you to do it, so she's going to lie about it. She's gonna say, it's everyone else. It's everyone else. It's not me. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. I did nothing wrong. Look at me. Look at me. I'm so special. I'm under attack. I did nothing wrong. It's those Twitter extremists.
Bennie is now doing her own thing, has her own YouTube channel, had already had her own Twitch channel and all of that. I really, really encourage you guys to go out there and support Bennie and the work that she's doing. I think the perspectives that she is sharing with you all is an important perspective. I think that perspective was also incredibly important to have here at TYT. And I'm very sad that she's no longer sharing that perspective here with us. But I have no ill will, no hate, no bad feelings toward Bennie whatsoever. I know that she's upset with me. I want to be clear in saying that I've never, ever supported bans on gender affirming care. I am still very much supportive of the transgender community.
Now, why does she say still? We're analyzing what's going on inside of Anna's mind. I want you to replay this. Why does she say the word still?
I want to be clear in saying that I've never, ever supported bans on gender affirming care. I am still very much supportive of the transgender community. My opinions mostly center on tactics in order to garner more support for the trans community. And my art.
This is some fucking white moderate shit out the whim wham. Like, I just want to say, I called Anna Kasparian uppity on Twitter. And the tone police came out in full force. How dare you call someone uppity? You're a misogynist for calling someone uppity. But what Anna Kasparian is saying here is she is saying, you uppity transes don't understand. I want to give you rights, so much so that I'm going to shit all over you in public over and over again because I want you to have so many rights. Strategy, bro. Strategy, bro.
Argument in regard to not front loading and pushing the more fringe elements would probably yield.
The more fringe elements. Now again, she's not going to define that because she's a stupid bitch who's also a pussy. She's got hardcore beta energy. She's afraid to say what she really thinks on TYT. That's why when she goes on the Lilo and Stitch show, she has no problem saying, yeah, Jesse Singal is great. I love him. By the way, I'm afraid to talk to non-white people. She's got no problem saying that. But on TYT, she's gonna be like, well, you see, actually, well, I'm not,
yield better results in securing healthcare, housing, and anti-discrimination laws for the trans community. I get that there's a difference of opinion. I think if you look at my history here at TYT, the countless segments I've done about the
my track record. I just want to ask everyone a question. And this is a hypothetical. Okay? If I started going on my show, if I started going on my show and just started whipping out racist slurs, gay slurs, right? Transphobic slurs, right? If I just started whipping them out, you know, how many get out of jail free cards am I going to get? I'm just curious. Right? Like, so you did one thing that's decent one time, and then you do fucked up shit, and that's okay? Like, I'm just curious. Like, what's my allotment? Right? Like, I'm just like, what is the theory here? What is this philosophy of I did something decent before, which that's questionable whether or not she did that to begin with. So therefore, I'm allowed to say fucked up shit how many times? Does she get 3 get out of jail free cards? 5 get out of jail free cards? Like, I'm just curious. You know, I just want to know. For no personal reason. I'm just...
transgender community, you will be very well aware that I have absolutely no malice or hatred toward trans people. If anything, you know, again, my opinions really center on tactics and what...
Now, again, I want you to pay attention to this chat here. And you see the chat divided into two camps. Two camps saying trans people are trans people, trans rights are human rights, right? And the other camp saying, yeah, man, just like, Anna's right, bro. Reality, high five. So what I want you all to understand is that TYT is pulling their liberal audience to the right. They're pulling their liberal audience to the right. Because fanboys, let's be honest, no one likes Anna Kasparian for her philosophy. No one likes Anna Kasparian for her intelligence. Her fanboys are like, oh my god, Anna's so great. Oh, she hates trans people? Well, okay, I guess she's right. Reality, bro. High five. Because they're a bunch of dumb bitches. Dumb bitches beget dumb bitches.
What we should do or what could be done in order to garner the most support. But for anyone who's spreading lies about me, supposedly being a transphobe.
There's one more.
The countless segments I've done about the transgender community, you will be very well aware that I have absolutely no malice or hatred toward trans.
Now note, by the way, on the Lilo and Stitch show, she said, I regret misinforming my audience and I'm going to try to do better, admitting that she lied to her audience in the past. Now, we can have that analysis on whether she actually lied, whatever. But on the Lilo and Stitch show, she goes on there and says, I feel bad for lying to my audience. I'm trying to correct the record. I lied to my audience. I've been lying to my audience for years. That's what she told Lilo and Stitch. Right? And then on here, she's like, my track record. Look at everything I've said. Look at my track record. So is your track record something you stand by, or is your track record something that you regret? Because when you go on right-wing shows, comma, dumb bitch, comma, you talk about your track record trying to throw it in the garbage, trying to start a fresh slate. That's what you tell right-wingers. That everything you said before was a lie, and now you're trying to see the truth. Then you go on your TYT show and say the exact fucking opposite, so which is it? Dumb bitch? Which is it, motherfucker? Just curious. I just want to know.
People, if anything, again, my opinions really center on tactics and what we should do or what could be done in order to garner the most support. But for anyone who's spreading lies about me, supposedly being a transphobe, anyone who thinks that me liking Jesse Singal and sticking up for him when he's been smeared and slandered, if you think that translates to me hating transgender people or being a transphobe, you would be mistaken.
Who is Jesse Singal? Do you know? Jesse Singal has written multiple articles about why conversion therapy is the only way to properly treat transgender kids. Don't use hormones because hormones kill the kids. Don't use puberty blockers because puberty blockers kill the kids. We have to convert them in conversion therapy camps. That's what he's written. Now, I can sit here and go through an article that Jesse Singal wrote about conversion therapy, or you can look it up for yourself and we can skip this part, right? But she is banking, okay? She is banking on her audience not knowing who Jesse Singal is and not feeling the need to look him up. Now, like I said, we put a pin in something earlier.
And in our Twitch subs, we have Vitengale, who is commenting about Bennie leaving TYT and says that silence is violence. So since you want me to address it, I will address it. So unfortunately, Bennie has decided to leave TYT. I am definitely heartbroken over her decision to do that.
Now, let's unpull our pin, okay? So with all of the surrounding context, the fact that she misgendered Bennie and then immediately corrected herself and didn't even say sorry, I don't buy it. I'm just going to let you know my opinion. Right? We can debate this one. This one I am not 100% factually confirmed on. Right? Now, I know for a fact Anna's transphobic. I know for a fact she's promoting conversion therapy authors. I know that for a fact. I know she's dumb for a fact. But I'm down to debate whether or not she did this on purpose. Okay? And I want to present to you my argument. Okay? She knows that she has been going on weeks and weeks and weeks of a transphobic hate campaign, and the people are very much so analyzing in detail everything she does. You would think, right? She, like, the idea that she didn't practice this statement in the mirror, by the way, I don't buy it. She literally has spent all day, every day, over the last couple of days on Twitter, lying about the civil rights movement, lying about trans people, this and that, raging and screaming at the world. I'm not transphobic. I just think conversion therapy should be looked at. I'm not transphobic. I just think hormone blockers are dangerous. I'm not right? So, now again, if I were an ally and the only transgender employee at my company just left because everyone online is accusing me of being transphobic, I would not make this mistake, if you want to call it a mistake. But note, by the way, she doesn't say sorry. She doesn't even acknowledge it. Now, I want to present to you my hypothesis. Now, again, I am not saying this is a matter of fact. This is my opinion. Everything else I have said in this segment is a matter of fact. It is a matter of fact that she is dumb. It is a matter of fact that she is transphobic. It is a matter of fact that she is racist. That is undebatable. If you want to debate that, you're stupid. I'd rather debate a flat earther. But what I'm willing to debate is whether or not she did this on purpose. Right? And if I genuinely believed that I am not transphobic, and I genuinely believed that trans people got me all wrong, and the only trans worker for my company just left, I'm telling you, if I said him on air, I would immediately break down and apologize. But she doesn't. And now also, part 2 to my argument, she is this entire statement is, I'm not transphobic. I'm not transphobic. I love conversion therapy, but I'm not transphobic. Trans women are men, but I'm not transphobic. I'm not transphobic. Trans women have male bodies, but I'm not transphobic. Cross-sex hormones are dangerous for kids, but I'm not transphobic. Right? So this entire statement is not even acknowledging the criticisms. She is deflecting. Oh, it's the Twitter trans activists that pressured Bennie to leave. It's not my behavior. I didn't do anything wrong. So again, with these 2 points, I am willing to tell you my opinion on this is that this is a test balloon. That's my opinion. She is seeing what she can get away with. She is seeing what people will actually defend her on. That is my hypothesis. Again, I'm willing to say it's not a fact. I can't tell you what's in her mind. But again, her statement is, it wasn't me, bro. I didn't do anything wrong, bro. It wasn't me. It's the Twitter fringe. It's the fringe activists. It's the extremists. I didn't do anything wrong. It's the extremists. I mean, I'm just telling everyone that trans women are men, but I'm not transphobic. It's the extremists. By the way, I'm going to call the only trans contributor who, by the way, just left because of my behavior. I'm going to call them him on air and not even apologize. Now, again, all of this information together, I don't buy it. I don't buy it. Now, again, I'm willing to debate it. I'm willing to have this conversation. I think this is in the realm of debate. Anna's intelligence, her IQ, not in the realm of debate. This bitch is got a 50 IQ at best, all right? Dumb as hell. Whether or not she's transphobic, undebatable. That's a matter of fact. But again, I just want to be fair. I'm willing to debate whether or not she did this on purpose. Because, you know, part of me is like, she's too dumb to kind of do this on purpose. But the other part of me is like, the intelligent part of her, which is the cover my ass part of her, may be well trained enough. So I don't know, man. You tell me. If you are still fucking with the Young Turks, I'm sorry, you're a bitch. If you're still subscribing and giving money to anybody on the Young Turks network, you are funding a transphobic hate campaign. Fact, Anna Kasparian is transphobic. If she weren't, she would actually debate the substance. She would bring a trans person on and have the conversation. She would call Bennie on the phone. Do you think Bennie's got a phone call? Hey, Bennie, I'm sorry that you feel this way. Do you want to talk about it and maybe see what we can do? If I were in charge of a company and, like, let's just say the only black person at my company quit because I kept saying racist shit, if I really believed I'm not racist, I would call them on the phone and beg them to come back to work and try to figure out what I did wrong. I mean, just think about it. You know what I would not do? I would not go in front of every other employee and say, yeah, I'm totally not racist. That person is just an extremist. That's what I would not do. And so, personally, I think it's undebatable Anna Kasparian, transphobic, and also dumb as fuck. She's just a dumb shit for brains, dumbass cocksucker. With all due respect.